That wasn't supposed to happen.
No.
But it's fine. It's fine.
That's a good way to start it
was
off.
supposed to be muted, but it just didn't happen.
And we're sure we're recording one. I don't see
Yeah.
anything. You
There
sure?
go. Yeah.
Take a look.
Boom. Waveforms right there.
You see them? I don't see anything.
Sorry, this.
Oh, the blue. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank God. Look how smooth we are now, Joe.
Smooth operator.
Jinx it.
Am I the only one hearing choppiness?
Oh yeah, that's normal.
No, that's normal.
That's the unfortunate thing. That's why you need one ear exposed.
Yeah.
So we're not that good yet, but
Do I have to use this shit every
No,
day?
you don't.
Okay.
It's just
to
if
make
you want
sure
to
if
hear
your levels are okay.
Yeah, it's just
So sorry.
Alright,
so you
no,
can
no,
hear
look at-
yourself and like, cause it'll go away. It'll like,
Yeah.
it comes in and out.
it like phases.
Yeah,
I'm counting
'cause-
on you guys to check my levels then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Okay.
I
This
mean,
operation
you
is
also
still
don't
kinda
want to
shitty.
miss out on the fancy
Oh, yeah.
music we got going
I
on.
see. Yeah.
It may not be worth it, though.
Honestly,
It's really not.
We really got to fix this shit at 1.1.
Dude,
So bad.
I'm literally emailing people and saying, how the fuck do you guys get like nice sound effects live on your shit? And I'm pretty sure they don't do it this way, but it's a living.
Yeah. Well, we're back.
Yeah, we're
Yes.
fucking back, dude.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, pretty much.
The
Yeah, it's
first
been a very long while.
and second guest, Joe.
Yeah.
And now what is he, the fourth? Because we had one.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I'll mute his name out.
Mute that.
I'll
God
mute
damn
his
it.
name out.
I
You
did
gotta
not.
remember to mute that.
I did not know you had him as a special guest.
We did, but the shitty thing is the audio fucking got lost. Because we went way over time with Juan. We probably
Okay.
went like 100+ minutes.
And
Yeah.
it stopped recording and
Yeah.
purged the whole fucking audio.
Yeah, I could
The
imagine that.
literally the whole thing crashed because like it's writing to RAM, so
Oh.
it's like it has to like dump the file. When you stop it, it dumps the file, and it's like okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But we never stopped,
I see.
so the RAM probably allocated all the fucking RAM, and it was like fuck, what do I do with it?
Yeah, and it crashed.
And it crashed the whole damn thing. Yeah.
So now we know we have limits. So
Yeah,
it was like, what,
unfortunately.
120 minutes? We
It was
can't
about 120
surpass.
minutes, yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you at least have to take a break. in
Yeah.
between.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
True.
Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, honestly, I haven't really had a lot like happen between now and
Since
last time.
Shit. Yeah, we have.
What do you mean? Oh well,
We've had plenty of stuff happen.
I guess so. But last time we didn't even talk about like topics that like we wanted to talk about. I guess.
Yeah. Well, this
Just
time we
kinda
want to
brain
talk
damage.
about Brian Cox and Joe Rogan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I fell
Did you-
asleep listening to it.
Did you really?
No, it's because I try to listen to stuff before I go to bed because
Mm.
I try to maximize the amount of time I like can get other things other than my work in my head.
Right.
Mm.
So I'm like, all right, let me go to sleep listening to this. But sometimes if it gets too good, I'll like end up
Keep you
staying up for an
apprised.
hour and shit.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like, oh shit, yeah, that's true. Or something.
That's bad for your sleep schedule.
It is bad, but sometimes it just helps.
Yeah.
Nobody thinks Joe Rogan's like voice is that soothing, but
It's fine, though.
maybe because he's British. Maybe because Brian Cox is British and it kind of helped. But
Mm.
Oh, yeah. Every
Well,
YouTube
maybe-
comment on there was just like, Brian Cox's voice is so smooth and soothing.
Yeah.
I agree, though. He's just got a light voice.
He was in a
Yeah.
band, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Hmm.
He was like at some music rock group in the 90s or something.
Yeah.
Seems like an English thing.
Yeah.
Probably.
I was hoping it'd be like Oasis or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Something
that'd be
known.
cool as hell.
What is that? Don't Fear the Reaper?
No. Wonderwall.
Oh, Jesus.
Said maybe. I thought it was gonna be one of those guys.
That's probably the worst option you could have picked.
Really? Yeah, they're not that bad.
Wonderwall, bro.
I appreciate it.
That's
man.
basically the basic bro song.
Yeah, it kind of is, but it is. I don't know.
The cliche.
I like them though.
Yeah.
So what did you guys think?
I don't know. I don't have too many notes. I'll just riff off of whatever you guys got. But it seemed it was interesting talking about the philosophy stuff. But then when it got to the science, it's kind of like I've heard this a million times.
Oh, yeah. Nothing new for us, right?
Yeah.
But he's
Yeah.
explaining
For a layman
Yeah.
audience.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
Brian Cox, honestly, was one of the better guys
Yeah.
on there because he didn't try to get too crazy,
trying to show off fucking Lorentz attractors or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
What's the guy's name? Weinstein.
Yeah.
What the hell was he doing last time?
Yeah.
And freaking Lawrence. Lawrence Krauss wasn't horrible either. Yeah, but I thought Brian Cox was one of the better ones.
Yeah,
for
he
sure.
was.
He kept it very
Kept it real.
at a conceptual philosophical level, and then added and sprinkled in physics where it was necessary.
Yeah.
True.
Which is like the way to do it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. You know, Jamie was along for the ride. You know, he's like a physics guru.
Jamie, pull that video up.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Because he got an A in physics.
Because he got an A. According to there's a rumor that he got an A in physics, but I don't know.
I think he said it on a podcast.
Oh, he did?
I think Joe Rogan said that, Jamie got an A in physics.
People
yeah.
just roast on him for
Yeah,
that?
people roast on him for it, yeah. You know they always do
Yeah.
in every
That's
podcast.
great. That's awesome.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah. I've actually got some things on here that he talked about. So the first one he said, he was talking about wormholes. And I don't know if you remember, he was describing the movie Event Horizon.
Yeah.
And how they use wormholes to travel into space. And Joe was basically asking if they're a source of propulsion. That was already stupid. I was like, that's not the right word, Joe. I know what he was trying to say, but not propulsion. Propulsion is like, I think actually, damn, I forgot to look it up. I don't know if propulsion, I guess I can't really say either because I don't know the definition, but I think propulsion requires like combustion, does it not? Or
Yeah, I guess
or is
so.
it just the act of propelling something?
Yeah, I would think the latter. I mean, I'm not sure myself, but like maybe some type of energy, right?
Okay.
That's
So it doesn't
as long as
necessarily
you-
have to be combustion.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so I guess maybe it's okay. The thing is still with what he's describing, the Einstein-Rosen bridges, wormholes, they still aren't really propulsion because it's like bending space-time and then you're going through the wormhole. So, I don't know. There's some...
what do you guys think about that?
Pedantry. Yeah.
Hold on, let's pause a minute. I want to talk about that because I thought
Yeah.
it was like, what was Joe? Joe was trying to say like if you can curve. I think he was alluding to like how can you do that? How can you use a wormhole to travel through space time or whatever?
Which is one of the classic things,
Yeah.
Right.
And if
But
it's
it's
possible.
like- You're saying it is possible?
Well, I think Brian Cox said it was possible. He said, well, it's
there's
possible
no rule
mathematically.
breaking. Right.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, it requires things that don't exist, which is like a lot of these theories.
True.
Specifically, he said in the podcast that it required negative pressure,
Yeah.
which is, I can't even fathom what that means.
Yeah.
No, negative pressure was negative
Well, I think that's what Brian Cox
mass
said.
or something.
I think that's what Brian Cox said.
Yeah,
but
negative pressure.
PBS Spacetime has a good video on it, I think.
Oh, the guy with who looks like a Neanderthal?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He's smart as hell.
Yeah, he's a
he
smart
looks like a
Neanderthal. But yeah, they had some video on it, I think. I could be mistaken, but there they kind of go more into the physics. Like they're kind of they lay it on heavy with the theory and stuff like that. But
That's
I
why I
think
don't like CBS Spacetime. They kind of go through it too quickly.
yeah, but I think he said that you need negative mass for that to be possible, right?
Okay,
the Rosen bridge.
Maybe it's the same thing because pressure is force over area, right?
Yeah, so,
So,
I could see
it
there
might
could
be
be
the
a
same.
connection there, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can create negative pressure, but maybe it's such a vast pressure that he's talking about.
Can you? What does negative pressure mean?
It's like a vacuum. Because there's no, well, technically, right?
No.
When you have a vacuum, right? There's no air
That's
pressed
no-
down on it or whatever.
That's not negative pressure.
Compared to relative to what? Like relative to.
Because the thing is, negative pressure would be like. Because the thing is, what is regular pressure? It's applying force to an area. What does negative pressure even mean? I can't even understand what that means.
Like,
a
say-
negative force on an area?
Well,
What does
because
that mean?
like in the context of like if you have something that's in vacuum, right, and you can let's say
Okay.
you can open and close a valve, right,
Yeah.
and there's regular atmospheric pressure around it,
Okay.
and you open that bad boy,
Okay.
like the air will come rushing in, right?
That's not negative pressure. That's just pressure.
Engineers talk
You're
about that.
changing pressure.
They use that connotation all the time. Like you created like
a negative pressure
gradient.
gradient.
Yeah.
Gradient is the key word there because it's going from high to low pressure or something. So it's like it's the transition or something. Yeah, I know what you're talking about now, but that's not what it is.
Oh, okay.
So he's talking about like negative pressure in the sense of like a negative version of the pressure that we know just within a contained system. or an isolated system, I should say.
Yeah.
Which I don't even know what that means.
This is above my pay grade. And like
no, this is literally your pay grade. This is
not
literally
this concept specifically.
But I guess it's a little bit more. This stuff is related to more Joe's stuff, astro. Yeah. So.
Well, I mean, the concept of like negative physics, I don't know.
Well, there's always these kind of weird spins on things that don't really make sense.
Yeah.
Like a professor of mine at GSU, he worked on negative resistance. And I was like, I don't know what that means either. Like, of course, with superconductors, we know of no resistance.
Right.
Like, that was already fucking mind blown already. And negative resistance, though, I'm just like, what does that even mean? Is that better than a superconductor? I don't get it.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they come up with these. They just
signs,
say, let's just see what happens.
It's
Which
some weird
you can
convention, probably, right?
Well, I guess it makes sense, right? Because mathematically, we try to do all kinds of crazy shit. Like the square root of -1.
Yeah.
Why can we do that? And then look at all the crazy useful things that came out of that.
Yeah.
So I get it, but at a certain point, I wonder philosophically, like, well, I don't know. You can play around with math at your leisure, you know, and then we'll see if reality will take its course and make these things real or not. But
yeah.
No,
not much more to add on that.
Like, it was good. It was just, honestly, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
His explanation?
No.
Or the podcast in general?
In general, yeah.
Okay.
He was solid. Like, he was a solid guest. He talked about these things.
This is actually an interesting part of that one I wanted to ask you guys about. He said Stephen Hawking made something called a chronology protection conjecture.
Oh, this thing.
Yeah, he said the laws of nature will be such that you cannot build time machines. What do you guys think? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, that's a loaded one, right? I don't know. I mean, to me, it's just a conjecture, right? It's just like...
But I mean, innately, do you think that's true or not?
God, I had something so good for this, but I totally forgot.
I forgot this was
like 2
weeks.
weeks.
Say it on it one.
I forgot this was even in the podcast, right? Right now, just thinking about it, like, the first thing that comes to my mind is, like, maybe I don't see why, like maybe time machines ought to be allowed, right? I'm building a connection that I don't know if I should be, of like connecting it to like the many worlds hypothesis, right?
Oh, I see.
Okay. Like wherever it's physically allowed, you know, every iteration of that possible universe where you have the possible iterations of whatever physical things can occur, then you could have like the multiple timelines kind of thing that you see in sci-fi movies.
Yeah, that's how Dragon Ball Super treats it.
That's what they do?
Yeah, that's how they treat it, which is crazy. But
right, but the thing is then I guess it kind of depends if it's physically allowed, right? So I just feel like, I don't know.
Yeah, my conundrum is like I would agree with you actually, but my only thing is like the many worlds part, it still kind of messes with my head because it's like, where do you even get the energy to say, like, out of this, where do you get the energy to make a whole nother fucking universe kind of thing? Like, if you have timelines within, like, creating parallel universes or whatever, to, like, at every instant, it's like, where the fuck does this come from?
I mean, I see what you're saying, but the universe might be, like, the ultimate free lunch. You know?
No, I know there's people that say that, and I can kind of agree, like, the net energy of the universe, you know, if we do have local conservation, you know, people say like there's global conservation, and then the universal is there universal conservation? We don't really know, right?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I'm just like, where the fuck do you get the energy to make a whole nother universe if the many worlds interpretation is like the correct way to think about it? But I mean,
but so now you're introducing a new concept of like energy conservation on like the multi-universe scale, right? So I don't know if it even applies at that level.
Right?
That's very true.
I don't fucking know, dude. That's what I'm saying. Like, it just kind of perturbs me. Like, it's just kind of like, this is kind of strange. Like, I don't know, because I don't know. I guess there are like other physicists who are actually thinking about this full time, and they kind of have ideas of how to like gauge these things and measure these things physically. But I would agree with you. Like, if there's no violation of like some kind of energy conservation principle or whatever, then yeah, I would be inclined to agree. Like if you were somehow able to go back in time, whatever that means, right? If you fold space time and you go back to that configuration of space and time, like, you know, then I guess
goes back to my entropy episode, reverse entropy. Then you're going back in time.
Reverse entropy.
Yeah, entropy is kind of how we
the rate of change of
right. It's kind of how we define the forward arrow of time.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. Did Brian Cox talk about that? I mean, it's
not really. He didn't address entropy.
I thought he did. It was like it's about the way the universe starts in an ordered state and it goes to a disordered state, right?
Maybe he did.
Yeah,
but it was
he
brief.
brushed
then.
up on it because Joe was saying he was talking about the big crunch, like a cyclical universe kind of model thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were talking about the Big Bang. So like, you know, at that point, you know, the universe was highly ordered, right? The difference in temperature between, you know, 2 points is very small, right? It all looked pretty uniform, you know, and it's time is just the effect of making that less uniform, making it chaotic and crazy all over the place.
Yeah,
we are the, you know, combination of that chaos, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I guess now that we're talking about it, I'm remembering more about the podcast, and that was my favorite part. Is he said my favorite point was basically when he was saying that we are because of the fact that the universe is decaying, right? Right.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, because rather than so we're there to observe it because of the fact that it's a dying universe, right? So
how would that follow, though? Just because it's dying, why would that mean we have to observe it?
Well, no, I'm saying like we are. It's like some people might say it the opposite way, like we are here in spite of the fact that the universe is decaying, rather than we are here because the universe.
Oh, I
is decaying.
see. Okay.
Wait,
right. It's a twist of perception.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Wait, Joe, put just a mic closer to your to your mouth, so without
the mic
like,
or
no the mic.
Okay.
That's it. No,
Good.
just that's it.
Right.
If you catch yourself drifting, just like pull it back towards your mouth.
Okay.
Well, we'll remind him.
Because it picks up some echo, but just,
Okay.
just be careful.
Good. Okay.
But yeah, no, I yeah, it is.
So
yeah,
you
because
guys
that kind of blew Joe's mind for a second, right? When he was talking, when he brought that up, like saying like, we come from dying stars thing, like.
Oh yeah.
Because that's where he went to that.
But like Neil deGrasse Tyson and other guys have said that kind of thing before.
Yeah. But it is amazing though. That is kind of amazing. We come from dead stars. It's like kind of the.
Well, we come from not even dead stars. Well, I guess we do come from dead stars too.
Yeah, bro.
We come from all kinds of shit though.
Stardust, man.
Yep.
Yeah,
kind of
it's kind of nuts.
Yeah. Do you guys? Speaking of, this is kind of going to be off topic, but like, so if we talk about like resources, right? So like, our life is sort of bound by like, fighting for resources, right? So like, if
you mean humans?
Humans, yeah. Well,
or actually all living things.
All of living things kind of fight for resources and stuff. But if humanity can humanity reach a time when they become like post scarcity in that sense, like where resources become so abundant and so cheap that like we're able to like kind of live easy and nothing really is that expensive,
Well, obviously, I think that's if we master energy.
Right. Yeah.
If we can harness the power of stars, then by all means, I think we can.
Yeah, but I'm saying like if you like, because a lot of people think that that's out in space, like those because
like out of the realm of possibility, or
no, that's out in space. Like the resources for us to be a post-scarcity society, we have to go into space.
Oh,
to
yeah.
get
Well, we need to have a level where it seems like the number of resources that we have available to the consumption rate is like, well, I don't know what that would be, but we would have to have way more resources than the ability to consume it. So, I think that's true.
But the thing is, if the universe is nearly infinite.
Yeah.
Like as we see, there as far as the eyes can see and as far as
Yeah.
light can get to us from wherever how far it is on the other edge of the universe, it's pretty damn near infinite, you know? So that means like there's...
Yeah, for us, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, for us...
It's such a scale, it might as well be.
But that's what I'm saying, like, the idea of scarcity, is it more about the scarcity of time and allocating those resources then? Is it like
Well, I think
us
it's a
getting
number
to
of
those
things.
resources?
Yeah, it's all the above, I think. Right? I mean, wouldn't you agree, Joe?
Yeah.
I think, yeah, it's like, the thing is, our distances and our time scales and things in this universe are so vast. It's basically, we still don't even know if we can obtain that level of how would you say it, of reach, I guess.
Yeah.
We don't even know if we could get to another planet.
Yeah.
You know, we don't even know if we could get to another star.
Yep.
You know, maybe if we can do those, then we can start talking about that.
Yeah, well,
but at the current time, I don't really know.
well,
Not sure.
Well, so to rephrase your question, if you're asking like, is it necessary to leave our planet or like our solar system to reach post scarcity?
Yeah, I guess that's kind of a follow-up.
Right. Okay. So, my intuition would be no. Right. I mean, I would say like the same thing that Terrence is getting to. If we figure out fusion, then we're good to go, right? Like, I was doing some interesting like history dive. I don't know if you've heard of this scientist from Germany. His name is Fritz Haber. I give you all a history lesson.
All right, I'm ready.
Minute.
So Fritz, he basically, I mean, he probably makes up, you know, a large proportion of your body right now. Like his discovery, right? Basically, he figured out how to pull nitrogen from the air, right? So I don't know if you know, but there's a high correlation between crop yield and nitrogen, right? The amount of fertilizer you put into your crop.
Didn't know that.
Right. So like before Fritz's discovery, there were wars fought over like guano, like bat poop, because it was a high source. Exactly, right? So countries would go to war over that bat shit, you know.
That shit crazy.
Yeah, maybe that's where it comes from.
That's probably where it comes from.
Right, but then he
etymology and history lesson.
Yeah. And he so he figured out how to basically just put air under high pressure, and then out of it, you know, I don't know all the details, but you can pull out nitrogen for fertilizer, right? So it was a breakthrough like that allowed for food to be mass produced, right? And it's one of the reasons like people were speculating that we would run out of food, right? And and population would have to cut back.
How long
big
ago
time.
was this?
Well, he made the discovery in World War I.
Right, because around that time, everybody was obsessed with like this idea that the world didn't have enough food.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody thought like the world was going to end because we couldn't sustain the level of population that they had at that time. So the idea of a world war was kind of satisfying to some people. Because it's like, oh, it'll at least reduce the population for all the rest of us.
Yeah.
Those were the sadists thinking out loud. But
Right.
like, anyway, yeah. That's kind of interesting.
But his life story is like pretty fucked up if you want to. Like the rest of it is like he was a patriot, right? So then he basically
Germany, right?
Yeah. So in World War I, he basically inverted his formula to make like ammonia gas, right? And
he went to the dark side.
yeah, and so in World War I, he gassed thousands of people, and then World War II comes around, and he's a Jewish researcher, and so he gets a pass, but all of his all his colleagues gone, and then his wife kills herself, and his son kills himself because of what he's done, and
well, he created ammonia gas, so I guess it's kind of like,
I guess it's kind of like you get what's
cosmic karma
to you, huh?
and then he dies because he flees Germany, and then he's basically treated as a pariah throughout Europe and stuff like that, and he died before he could see Zyklon B was developed from that. What they used in the gas chambers, so probably what killed most
Even
of his
more.
relatives.
Jews,
Jesus
but
I would have just
but so it's just like an interesting like dichotomy of like science, right? It's the same discovery that led to the birth of millions to billions of lives on Earth is also the same thing, tool responsible for killing many people.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's an interesting conundrum.
Cosmic irony, man. Isn't that weird? Like,
Yeah.
Hey, man, that's why I think, you know, you always get what's coming to you.
Yeah. But to connect it to your question is like, I think we need a similar discovery like that in terms of like energy, right? And I think fusion is the way to go. It looks promising to me.
Yeah. So do you think like if we discover something that makes energy really relatively cheap to manufacture and produce, we can like, you know, we can obtain those levels of like, you know, like comfort. Like everybody can live like relatively simple lives. And
I think they could, but also understanding humans, we always want more and we always want to be better than everybody else. So what I'm hoping is we could find a way to live comfortable and find a different means of trying to be better than someone else instead of relying on having more resources.
Well, I feel like we still have that monkey brain, right? That's like still built with like those hierarchies and of like tribes and shit and all this other stuff, which is kind of like, you know, us being human, we try to ascend that, or at least ideally, right? We try to ascend our own ape minds and shit. So like, my bad. So like, yeah, it's like, I don't know why his whole thing about like going out to the stars and dying, the concept of just like how those kind of things, all those resources are from dying stars. It made me think about being a space pirate and like going out there and getting that shit. Like, cause that's worth billions and billions of dollars. Like,
if you can harness it.
Well, yeah. But they brought up a simple. I forgot. He said he was talking to Jeff Bezos. And Jeff Bezos was saying, like, you know, like if he goes to like a meteorite or something and gets like even like a small piece of it, he's able to like, you know, cover the earth and like
materials or something, and build a 500-story building or
all
something
over Earth, It's fucking insane. But yeah, that's how fucking that would change the world overnight. Like.
Yeah. And actually, he mentioned a really interesting concept of that too, because he said you could do something like in the future, it could be possible to where, let's say, we harness space industry to a point where you could allocate industry to outside the Earth, and then you could designate Earth as some kind of residential area or something.
I see.
I'm like, that'd be fucking fantastic, because then we'd have all this clean air, you know. The fucking geese wouldn't have fucking six-pack things on their faces and shit.
Yeah, the frogs wouldn't be gay.
Frogs wouldn't be gay.
According to Alex Jones.
They'd be so straight.
Yeah, man, it'd be crazy.
Sounds like you're setting up for some, like, proletariat knaves being, you know, worked to the bone on Mars or something.
Well, no, the ideal, I mean, honestly, the ideal society for humans, let's be real, is like robots doing all the work.
Yeah.
And us just fucking around. Honestly,
but the robots being stupid enough not to kill us.
Okay. But I mean, there's some Christians already that kind of don't like the idea, because like I think that's a Protestant like kind of. I mean, I'm not here to like bash Christians, but like there's a Protestant idea, I think, if I can recall, that work it brings you closer to God or something like that. So like there's kind of a prevailing thought, I think, in American culture where it's like work kind of is a thing of pride. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people do feel better when they take pride in their work, right? That's psychologically.
Well, here's another thing they addressed in the podcast was, he said, Brian Cox was talking about this, where if we had a large body of, or a large amount of AI that took over these industries, like these white collar industries, it would displace a lot of people. Exactly. But the thing is, Joe Rogan said, you know, which I think I agree with, they would take on other things because humans need meaning, so they would just do shit that they want to do. Yeah. You know, like if people could just be, you know, able to, I guess, live like a more self-actualized life, and you wouldn't have to do any hard labor, then I think people would do that in general. But there, of course, would be lazy people who would just sit on their asses and get fucked up all day. But that's always going to be the case.
Yeah, it's going to be weird because at that point we'll become more social. Like social dynamics will dominate like our evolution in a sense. Like I mean, more than it does now, because now it's kind of like, even if you're kind of a shitty person, you can kind of get through life by making money. You can be like a psychotic freak who just like fucks over people, steals their money and shit, and then like, or kills or robs people. And you
but
can
if you have
still
money, then you're like a lot of it's forgiven.
Yeah, well, you can survive. That's kind of the idea.
Yeah.
But like in a society where like everything's so cheap and almost everything is kind of provided for, ideally, right? We're talking about this idealized universe where we make robots, stupid robots, do all the work, and we just kind of lounge around all day or whatever. Like those kind of people that are kind of malicious, like it kind of would be like heaven on earth if you think about it.
I don't know, because the thing is, cults exist. People who are smart and like sociopathic like that, they can always get followings.
Yeah, but in a world like that, what's like, okay, because the idea of a post-scarcity society, maybe money is still a concept in some sense.
Yeah.
Like maybe more things are more about like giving people like maybe social currency is a thing. Like more.
Here's something, sex. If you're a fucking, sociopath and you can find a way to round up a bunch of hot chicks, then you're pretty much God.
Dude, honestly, I don't know, but that's what I'm saying. Like it made me think about like a universe where, going maybe 1,000 years into the future, and imagine myself living in a world like that. Like it would be kind of, it would look nothing like what we have now.
Yeah, it'd be way different, huh?
Yeah, it'd be insane.
It'd be so good, though, I hope.
No, I think it'd be hedonistic, but I'm saying, like, I think there's a certain Christian...
Not even hedonistic, though. Just, like, you get to do whatever you want. Like, you imagine how many artists there would be? Like, there would be no shortage of art.
Oh, yeah,
like,
it'd be amazing.
You would be overwhelmed with the amount... Like, already we have so much, like, art and music.
Yeah.
And, like, imagine that, like, amplified times 10. Like, you would always be able to just have fun and be able to look at anything that you want. Movies, media...
What's funny is like that made me think about how many Canadian artists we have.
Canadian
artists, yeah. Like musicians.
Okay.
Like in like different genres, right? So like what's weird is that Canada actually has like a lot of social welfare programs or whatever that have people that also give to the arts and stuff. That's kind of like something that I think about, like why a lot of musicians are fucking Canadian. Like at least the ones that I come across. Like
I wonder if that's just a weird coincidence.
Maybe for me, I guess because like all the some of the rock bands that I like, I end up stumbling upon like, oh shit, a lot of these dudes are fucking Canadian. It's kind of strange. Maybe it's anecdotal. It's probably anecdotal. Fuck what I said.
No.
I was surprised about one musician recently with 21 Savage being British.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying, dude.
The memes coming out of that are fucking gold, though.
Oh, man. I feel so bad.
Sir Savage the 21st.
Sir Savage. Damn,
I love him. I know, man. I'm sad for him, too, because he just came out with his album.
No,
I liked it, too.
Did you guys hear what got him with ICE?
No.
So ICE, you know about ICE, right? Immigration.
Oh yeah, I know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what the fuck does the C stand for?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Cunt.
No, apparently what happened was like he went on Jimmy Kimmel or one of these Jimmys, late night Jimmy guys, and like
they're all the same.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. And apparently he had a line in his song, which isn't really out of the ordinary because it's in his regular song, where he's talking about like how they treat people at the border. Like I can't imagine doing that to children and mothers and stuff. And apparently that got him into some hot water with fucking ICE, and so they're like, "Fuck this guy, we're gonna fucking get him." So like the following couple days, they kind of like targeted him and shit.
How would they know that he? Like that's such a coincidence to stumble on.
I know that's what a lot of people were saying. That's too much of a coincidence.
No, but I'm like, why would they even think to check his background like that?
Well, no, he was apparently he had already signed up for renewal of his visa, I think. So he was in the
process.
Yeah, in the process of like getting all the shit.
But way late in the game.
I guess so. Apparently his immigration lawyer was like he had already sorted out everything. Like they just kind of fucked with him in that way. So it was a little bit strong arming from like ICE, like kind of just like fucking with him. At least that's
sounds
what
like a rumor to me.
What do you mean?
It sounds very rumorish.
What I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
No, dude, no.
It sounds highly conspiracy to me.
No. this is
the ICE are out to get him, bro. I'm telling you.
No. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, in that sense, it does seem conspiratorial. But I'm saying I'm only reporting what his lawyer said or had communicated to the public. That he had already done it, and it just seemed a lot of people were like, yeah, it seems a little bit targeted. And I guess maybe it is, but
Well, my heart goes out to him.
Yeah. He'll be all right. Unfortunately, he has money, so
he'll be fine.
So he can solve a lot of problems with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, if he had no money and he was being deported, it'd be a real crying shame. But
that'd be sad.
But yeah, dude, fuck. What was I gonna say? I had something else that I wanted to bring up.
I've got more Brian Cox.
Yeah, go for it.
Stuff here.
Cox
so I got it all divided into sections. I guess we kind of already talked about artificial. Well, there's some things in here. So, Joe Rogan asked Brian Cox if he was as scared about AI as Elon Musk was, and basically Brian Cox said that the experts he's talked to all say that AI is kind of for specialized systems at the moment, and basically it's not going to be any kind of like Terminator type threat.
Yeah.
It's only going to be like what we were talking about, white collar jobs and things that'll be threatened.
Yeah.
But I think he kind of conceded in the fact that Elon may be onto something a little bit, because he's just thinking about a different time scale, I guess, essentially.
Yeah.
And then Joe also mentioned that Kurzweil always talking about, we'll be able to download our consciousness in computers and everything, and
keeps pushing the years back.
Right. But we can never really tell how fast technology goes. So I guess my question for you guys was kind of like, what do you think about this, and do you think that humans are capable of internalizing technological growth at that level?
Joe, you're the guest. Have you signed out first?
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, I guess in terms of, so like a two-part question, like
like AI and technological growth.
Like, do I think it poses a threat to like humanity and stuff like that? Like, am I like in the Elon Musk camp, or am I in like the Brian Cox, like, we got time?
Yeah, exactly.
Camp? I think I am more in the Elon Musk camp. Like, if there was a spectrum between them, leaning towards the Musker.
The muskrat, the elongated muskrat.
Yeah. Perfect. Just because I guess the fear is of a general intelligence, right? Some AI that can be applied to like any situation and can like adapt, right?
Yeah.
Like a human, right? And I think we're on our way to that. Like for instance, I don't know if you know, I was listening to I think a Sam Harris podcast recently, and he had
was that with Joe Rogan? Sam Harris's podcast.
Yeah, Sam Harris.
Joe.
Sam Harris's podcast. Right. I'll try to be better about that. But
that's when we need stands.
But
true.
Anyways, so there's like basically he interviewed the guy, I forget his name, but he's like kind of responsible for bringing this AI threat to the public consciousness. He's been writing. He's written like 100 books. And,
wow!
Like,
wait, who's this guy?
I don't remember his name actually.
But he's prolific.
Yeah. Okay. He's well known.
Tony Stark.
Is he an expert? Is he an expert in AI?
Yeah. I mean, not. I don't think
like a futurist.
I think he's an expert. I would say he's more of an expert in AI. I don't think he's like classically trained. I don't think he has like
background in it.
I don't think he has like a PhD or anything.
Okay.
But he's talked to like a lot of the experts.
I got you.
He's like well connected, and he's written a lot about it.
Okay.
Anyways, so the point is he reported that I forget, was it DeepMind or one of the AI programs that was that mastered Go, right?
Oh, that's Alpha Zero.
Yeah,
or something, or AlphaGo or something
like that. That's AlphaGo.
Yeah,
they might have had Alpha Zero after that.
Yeah,
and that's what he was referring
like
to, right?
Okay.
There was basically the same scaffolding from that Go program applied to, I think it was chess or some other game, right? And it mastered that game in like,
no time at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it was way better than any of the chess computers that we've ever made so far.
Wow.
Right. So already we're like seeing progress towards like a generalized intelligence, right? Like an intelligence that applies to not one game but now two, just some really basic stuff.
I see. So you think we're inching towards the generalized AI?
Yeah, and the thing is just like I'm concerned because to know whether or not we're gonna reach that boundary is like we have to solve I think we'd have to solve the hard problem of consciousness, right? Like, because we don't really understand anything about what goes on in the brain, right? So we could be reaching that edge, and like we don't know what the time scale really is.
Right.
Like,
so it could be too late before we cross that threshold, and we didn't even realize.
Yeah, and even if like it really is just a number of like connections, right? And you need to like map like 100 trillion neurons. If we go at an exponential rate, as you like to tell me often, like we don't really have a good grasp of like exponential growth in general.
Right.
And so
I guess you kind of answered both then.
Yeah.
So you're in the Elon camp, and you think humans don't really have a good grasp of the exponential scale of technology.
Yeah. So I mean, it's better.
I agree.
It's better to just do the hard thing now, right?
Yeah.
Because when it's too late, it's too late.
Yeah. What about you, Juan? What do you say?
Counterpoint. I think I have a sound effect for this. Counterpoint. Hold on.
Juan loves his effects.
I have to do it for the audience. Okay, let's see. Let's see what I got. Go on fucking ones and twos. Yeah, that's what I wanted.
Oh boy.
Okay, so I disagree just for the fun of it.
All right.
Okay.
No. So I'm like, if I wanted to say, okay, Elon's being a little bit of an alarmist. If I wanted to say that, I would say, there are experts working on this. Because not one person contains all the. I mean, how does Elon know? Like, because I mean, it's like there are a team of people working to make an AI as best as it can, but a lot of these times they make them to achieve one thing. So in this case, it was just play a game. So follow a set of basic rules to achieve this end. So like, and you have this many degrees of freedom to get to that. And like at that point, it becomes a calculation problem. I mean, we kind of have a hard time doing that because just our fucking brains, I guess, aren't really good at doing that, like calculating just hard numbers. And
our brain's all about taking shortcuts.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's more
we
efficient.
made computers
Energy efficiency.
do it. Yeah, we're making computers do it. We're so lazy. We're creating other forms of intelligence to do this. So yeah, it's like it seems a little bit kind of like he's putting the what do people say? Put the cart
before the horse.
Yeah. Like it's not even there yet. It's not even like at the level where it's like, fuck, okay, shit, this AI actually can, if it starts taking white like collar jobs or whatever, then I think like complicated jobs, like I'm saying, like not necessarily just reading, because people, I think they brought this up in the Rogan podcast, but reading lawyer paperwork.
Yeah, he's saying that the AI are really good at doing things like lawyer jobs, reading contracts,
paperwork
and things.
shit,
yeah,
right?
Paperwork and stuff.
That's fine. Like for the most part, because you just search through it and you can make. I can imagine making a software or something, some program in like some computer software thing or language that kind of can summarize these kind of things. If you see this language, then report this or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can construe 1,000 ways to do all that, but like the essence of it is like, okay, which we have to create tiers. Like we have to create levels of like, oh, level 1 AI, like your TI-81 is probably like the most basic fucking computer system AI, whatever. I don't know. I'm just gonna say it. Tier 2 is like, or level 2 is like, I would say something like that, beating a game. Like IBM made a supercomputer to beat, what is it?
Jeopardy? I don't know.
Some fucking game. What was it?
Oh, Jeopardy.
Was it Jeopardy?
Yeah.
Yeah, shit.
It was Watson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Watson. Yeah, that guy. So, like, yeah, like, that would be level 2, I think, because it's like, it's sort of non-threatening. It's just something that's like, oh, it's a silly game. Level 3, I think we're almost at level 3. I don't know what the upper bound is yet. I'm trying to...
You're coming up with it now.
I'm making it on the fly.
Yeah.
Level 3, maybe, you know, something that's like not beyond games. Like, you know, once AI starts to... maybe we can start making AI that's can be discriminate towards, like, humans.
What do you mean?
Like, if you militarize AI, which is probably what Elon's worried about, right?
Yeah.
You weaponize AI so that it takes out, like, whole cities and shit, and you can bring a robot army of AIs to, like, target humans and shit. And, like, I think Elon was saying that if you make a robot move as fast as, like, the frequency, because your eyes can only see what receive 60 hertz.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It could be invisible to you.
Yeah. So it can move between frames.
That'd be scary as fuck.
Yeah, I know, but that's what he's saying. He's saying, like, if I guess if somebody really wanted to weaponize AI and, like, make robots that can do this kind of shit that are practically invisible to you because they know how to, like, get into your blind spots and all that, then I think that's a problem. That's probably like level 5. Maybe that's DEFCON like 1. Technically DEFCON 1.
But I think it's still small scale because I think at that level of AI was so generalized they could just wipe out whole cities because it'd be like Skynet. Like that's small scale when you're thinking about attack drones that are going to kill you in an invisible way. You know, the scarier shit is when an AI is so advanced that it can think smarter than the smartest person 10 times over.
Like Ultron.
I never seen it, but I imagine.
Yeah, I've seen it.
So the thing is, it's a slippery slope. I think I'm in the Joe camp here because in our Joe camp, because you know, it's just humans don't understand consciousness, and that's kind of a critical thing. You just don't know when the threshold hits, and the problem I have is when there's multiple people at the leading edge. Yeah. Like, it just takes that one person to just push it over the edge and just say, well, oops. I didn't realize how close we were, so I just invented the fucking Skynet.
Yeah. What if that's what if that's how humanity's consciousness was born? Let's say we had no evidence of evolution. Somebody was like, people actually believed that, like, aliens came down or extraterrestrial beings came down and, like, inhabited the earth, fucked around with, like, the life forms here, like the apes and shit. and mess with their genetics.
I've heard this theory before.
Yeah.
I think it was on Ancient Aliens.
yeah, exactly.
With that crazy-haired bastard.
Yeah. Konstantopoulos or whatever the fuck.
Giorgio Tsoukalos.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. They have this idea where it's like, you know, alien beings came down, sort of artificially inseminated or fucked around with the genealogy of, like, certain ape species, hominids. And through, like, successive breeding, they kind of created, like, a modern human person with a big brain and all this other shit. So, like, in that sense, what if it was, like, kind of like, oh, fuck, this is fun. Like, aliens came and it was like, oh, this is kind of fun, you know, making these creatures. And then all of a sudden they created, like, a conscious being. And they're like, oh, fuck, I guess we got to get out of here. Like they're going to fuck. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that.
Me either.
I just thought it was like, you know, I don't know. Maybe it's kind of interesting that, I don't know. But the scientist inside of me wants there to be AI and us to always keep pushing the boundary. So it's always like this. We have to walk this fine line.
Yeah. Right. And that's the thing I think Elon's trying to make sure we just don't cross that line. Which I think is something to.
But you won't know the line until you cross it, baby. That's how.
Unless you're just really well prepared, because like one example Joe gave was the fact that you need to understand consciousness. If we at least understand consciousness of ourselves, then perhaps we can translate that to machine consciousness. You know, at least if you have rudimentary knowledge of another case example, then you're in a better position. We just don't understand so much.
I mean, ideally, you have anytime you're building an AI system like that. Maybe, I guess, establishing rules, right? So that's saying, like have your AI in a closed system,
Right.
like no access to anything.
Yeah.
Like you know,
But even then, imagine an AI that's 10 times smarter than any human.
Yeah.
It could learn how to navigate outside of that boundary and then find a way into an unclosed system.
An AI's not gonna like if it's sitting in a hard drive or something.
Dude,
No
the
sensors
thing is,
to
if there's
Wi-Fi, no
if there's
nothing.
any people that interact with it,
Yeah.
it could find a way to. The thing is, you're
let's
not.
say you
You're not. I don't think we can conceive of what it means for something to be 10 times smarter than a human.
Yeah, exactly.
But
like,
I'm saying like AI, like okay, like where's the point where you get into like, will AI in a basic, let's say, because what I'm imagining is like a black box in a sense where it's like, just like the AI is inside this black box and it has no sensors outside. It has no way to interact
But
with the
it has
outside world
the
besides what
brain.
we input. Like
Besides what we input,
Yeah.
then that's not an AI.
No, I
Because
know,
that
but
means
we
it literally
give it- we-
can't get any other
I know.
thoughts except for its own, except for ours.
for our inputs, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I mean, right now that's what it seems like.
That's not
we're-
an AI though, because that
Yeah,
means
but
it's
we
just our
give it-
inputs.
Yeah, we give it shit.
But then what does it do if it can't interact with anything?
We're always gonna. That's my.
It's useless then. The only way it's useful to us if it has some kind of interaction. If we're just putting inputs in it, then what are we doing with it?
We're fucking playing with it, man. That's what. We're scientists, man. That's what we do.
If it's 10 times smarter, it's going to know that already. It's going to say, okay, I'm
no,
just
but
going to
it's
sit
not.
here
Would
until
it have a
something
concept
happens.
of like, oh, this thing? What is like imagine a brain, right? Imagine your brain in a. I guess
vat.
that's kind of hard to say.
The old philosophy adage, the brain in the vat.
I don't know about that one.
Okay.
What is that one?
Oh, it's who's it, Joe? Socrates or somebody?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, I've heard
Maybe
this,
Plato.
Yeah, it's like
It's just-
allegory of man in a cave. Like you don't really.
No, this one's
okay.
like, are you still conscious? Are you still you if it's just your brain in a vat?
Yeah.
That's where I thought you were going. But no, but carry on.
Oh,
What were you
maybe
saying?
not. I don't
Let's not get on like that.
Okay.
What were you saying?
No, so my point is like so far right now what it seems like is like AI we give the AI as much freedom as like how much input we give it. So I guess maybe
The thing
Elon's
is, though,
afraid
we
of it
want
having access to
output
the
from an
internet.
AI, or else it's useless. Why would we ever need an AI if we only give it input? That's a useless mechanism. It literally just defeats the whole purpose of what an AI is intended for.
Yeah, but it's like I don't know what I'm saying. I'm like I keep thinking to Ultron, like the movie.
Yeah.
So this movie.
this is already a bad
I'll explain
place
it
to
to you.
go.
I'll explain it to you.
Made by Hollywood people that have
Hey
absolutely
man,
no
there's-
understanding of
I
science.
bet you anything they got their source material from this guy.
Mhm.
Because
From
the whole
Kurzweil?
premise, the guy you
from
mentioned.
Joe's.
From Sam Harris's
From the-
podcast.
Yeah, Sam
from
Harris's
the-
guy.
Yeah, so like the premise of the movie is that Tony Stark, the most intelligent guy in this universe,
Yeah.
one of the most.
Mm.
I don't know if he's really that intelligent, but he creates an AI, and it ends up plugging into the internet, and then it learns about human history like in a second, and is like, I must destroy humanity. And so he's like, humanity is a scourge upon Earth, so they do more
Yeah,
harm than
the
good.
typical.
Blah 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 blah
Yeah.
blah. But I mean, that's what Elon's nightmare is, right? Like his
To a much more sophisticated degree.
yeah. So what this AI does is like kind of maneuvers itself and configures itself to give itself a human body, and like
Which is already stupid.
like well, not a human body, but a robotic
It doesn't
body.
make any sense.
Like, and he
Because
becomes
it can
like
be
a god.
way less efficient as a human than it can. It's just
Well,
something
not
that
necessarily human, but I'm saying like a bio.
Well, that's what I'm still
not
saying.
A bio,
any kind of body is still inefficient. Why would an AI ever need itself to have
Because
a
it
body? We
needs
can
to go
literally
from
travel
digital-
through lines of wire.
because there's no power. It still needs. You need to be independently energized. Like I don't know how. You need to live in the physical realm to extract energy, right? Like this thing needs to like for AI.
There's power grids. What do you mean?
Yeah, but if it kills all of humanity or something, like, you know, we can still live off the
Well, then
grid.
it sends
We're-
its fucking ship outside to the goddamn
Look,
moon or
if we
something.
wanted
I
to
don't know.
destroy, look, if AI wanted to destroy us, it would have to be a symbiote. It would have to recognize that it would be a symbiotic relationship because we could be like, you know, we'll power you and shit. But you know,
No.
you'll do things for
Here's
us.
the thing, Juan. 10 times smarter than
Yeah.
a human, okay?
I think
Yeah,
you
but
gotta
if
wrap
we
your head
always
around
10
that.
times smarter than a human. Imagine how an ant would be compared to taking down a human. Like, I'm not even sure we're 10 times smarter than an ant, honestly.
Well, I think we're 10 times smarter than an ant.
Are we okay? I'm not sure.
I think that one's safe.
Okay.
But I mean, it's just like it could build whatever it wants. Like it's gonna be connected to everything, right?
And
like,
it thinks so many moves ahead.
There's no physical connection to its like.
How do you think all of manufacturing works? Like most of it's automated now.
Is it going to build itself into a car and drive around running over people? I don't get how it's supposed to like.
No, it could just make a fucking poison gas and then kill all biological life.
But then what? Like, to me, it seems so.
The thing is, that's the thing about something being so sufficiently advanced. It may not even be doing it in a malicious way. It could just put us in a fucking zoo, or it could just leave us alone. That's the thing, is you're a sitting duck because you don't know, and you have no way to stop anything if it goes wrong. So it's not a fact of if this thing's going to be bad or not. It's just a fact of you literally have no control over anything at that point.
Yeah.
It could be designed to do something completely like benign too.
Yeah.
But like overly efficient, and like the example in the podcast is like for some reason it's programmed to like want to turn everything into paper clips. Right? It's like right. It's completely useless to us. We have no value in the paperclip, right?
But it's so good at the job.
Yeah, it will change everything and completely destroy like everything.
It's just the runaway effect is the problem.
Mm-hmm.
The runaway effect is bad because then you don't have control.
Yeah. Well, my thing is like, we're not digital beings in a sense. Like we can always unplug from the grid.
Who, us humans?
Yeah. We can live analog or whatever.
Yeah, or
we can live in like
savages.
The AI is digital, right? The AI is like needs.
It's fun though.
Yeah, it is fun, but it still needs fuel for us to like. There's no God damn. How do I say it?
Like the
I
AI
haven't articulated this at all because
somehow.
Huh?
The AI needs to have a grid or has enough energy.
Yeah, it has to have some kind of thing.
But the AI could eventually be more efficient, where it can get energy like just by being fucking in the air, because it can.
I don't know how
it can get a Wi-Fi signal or something. It can empower itself with an electromagnetic wave or something.
But the thing is,
probably not. I just can't conceive of anything right now. But imagine we could find a way where we didn't need wired electronics or something. Or if it could power itself with the sun, solar energy.
Yeah, there are.
We have many means of energy.
Locations that run on.
Like we still need energy technically too. Like our energy comes from the sun.
Yeah.
At the
totally.
bottom line.
Yeah.
So everything really needs energy.
No, I know, but I'm saying like the AI is going to have a harder time because it doesn't have opposable thumbs to do it. Like,
I think that's a really naive argument.
I don't know. Like, I know. Look,
I think it's incredibly naive.
I'm the devil's fucking advocate here. I'm just like fucking throwing shit out there, just trying to like make an interesting conversation. But yeah, it's like I would look.
Thumbs would be like fucking.
See, an AI with opposable thumbs, it'd be over. Because then it could do anything. It could really do anything. It could reprogram itself. But, well, I mean,
so I guess then you're on board if you give it thumbs.
Yeah, if you give it thumbs and shit, damn, like, say goodbye
I think you could find a way to get some thumbs somewhere.
Yeah, I think that'd be the least of its concerns.
Actually, that's how in Age of Ultron, it gives itself an arm first, and it's like typing shit on the internet or something. That would suck if the AI learns to troll. Like, if that's the one thing it takes away.
That'd be the first thing it learns.
Yeah. God, that would suck. I don't know. I would love to see AI though. Like, if we created AI, I would love to see
not kill us.
Not kill us, yeah. But I'm saying if somebody made it in a closed environment and they had like hazmat suits, technological hazmat suits.
Yeah. No,
and you could see it in a closed environment doing its thing. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I was thinking while we were having this conversation, like, what if we developed a general intelligence that was like smarter than us? Like, it could basically do anything that we would want to think of, but better. Right?
Yeah.
Like, even create music, create art, create film, cinematography.
So we're completely obsolete at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how would humanity fare in an event like that? I feel like our, ego is pretty high up there.
Yeah.
Thinking about it. Like
we're rendered useless. Our whole identity has now been checked.
Yeah. I think at that point we would, a lot of people would feel like super threatened and like want to try to take it out.
Yeah. And that might be the reason why the AI would have to kill us, because it would already, if we already can see this on the horizon. The AI probably, as soon as it switched on, would already see this in the future, and it says, you know, oh, like, well, just we have to kill humans because literally, if we're smarter, then there's no other way.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
You know,
Would you be content to just like know that you're basically obsolete?
I know I wouldn't.
Your
It's
brain's
like, what's
obsolete.
the point of life then? We just stripped ourselves of meaning completely.
Fuck it, dude. We're transient beings, man. Like, if that's our role in evolution, fuck it, man.
You just move on to another planet. Is what you're saying?
No,
No,
we
we're
try
We're
to find-
transient.
We're
We're
just
switching.
stepping
Yeah,
stone.
let's
Unfortunately, man, I've talked about this several times with some friends of mine.
Yeah.
Probably you too. You know,
Maybe.
I think we're probably the creators of artificial intelligence, and that's probably where we'll stop.
That's where evolution.
That's where humans will end, I think. Or the best option to me is if we can integrate.
Yeah.
If we
No, I
can
know.
somehow integrate with AI, then I think we're okay for a while. And then we'll just eventually switch ourselves out so much that we're just completely machinery, and we don't even see the transition from biological to machine life. So it's
Yeah.
a painless process. That would be the ideal.
Wait, what's the?
So basically like
being,
this,
being
imagine
like a
you, like,
biomech.
Well,
thing?
yeah, so eventually it starts where you just get some new eyes.
Yeah.
You get some mechanical eyes. Then you start to get
yeah.
mechanical feet.
X-ray vision.
Then you get, because you want to go fast. Then you want to
Yeah.
get mechanical arms so you could
Yeah.
punch harder or something.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, fuck it. I can just make a copy of my brain, so I'll get a mechanical brain. It's the same you. I've just got a brain. Now I can make it better. And now by the end of it, you're completely a machine now. And you didn't even realize you just switched over to an AI, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder at the other end, this is starting to sound like crazy sci-fi, like with CRISPR and stuff like that. That's like another technology
editing.
working. Yeah, exactly. Working on the opposite end, like upgrading our wetware. You know, to the point like people are already like have already fucked with this shit. Like
Some Chinese research is getting executed for it.
Yeah.
Damn.
Fucked up.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, the first place will be, well, like you'll remove any genetic diseases, right? Because it'll be life threatening, and who wouldn't agree with that? And then it'll be like stupid shit, like, you know, I want to have blue eyes, and then I want to be
bigger dick. That'd be the first on every dude's list.
Didn't we talk about this?
Yeah, that was
society breaking.
That was our metric, right? As soon as you could,
Did we talk about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Society breaking mutations.
Yeah, as soon as you get big dicks,
Yeah, it's all down
society's
there.
It's all downhill. Well, you know, wheelbarrows, guys. Wheelbarrows. Just walking around, just god damn it. Yeah, that would be the that's the true downfall of Western civilization.
They
Fuck
should
all
make
this
a new
feminist
movie
shit.
like that,
It's gonna
like
be
an
that.
Idiocracy 2.
Yeah.
There's probably so much material to work with nowadays. You could do it.
Yeah. You know, that's what Jordan Peterson should be talking about. We should be stopping big dick like science. Remove all that. That's gonna destroy
One
Western
weird
society.
trick.
No, but yeah, dude, actually upgrading on wetware is a lot more interesting because like we could make ourselves, like, say we want to become stronger, we increase our muscle density and shit like that, and we can, like, you know, we can.
Yeah, you have to
super
flush it out
beings.
though, because like imagine you increase your muscle density and then now you have an enlarged heart, just like steroids.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of issues with it. You always got to be careful with eugenics, because it will progress as you have children, right? So if you fuck up, it's gonna fuck up for like a long time.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be really interesting. I mean, I would honestly, we should build like a society or we should allow all nations should come together and say we should build like an offshore island where people can just do whatever the fuck they want. So like that
Sounds
Chinese
like Bioshock.
scientist, yeah, kind of like Bioshock, but it's like, you know,
like
you
a good
can kind
scary
of
movie.
Huh?
Sounds like a good scary movie.
Well, it's like the whole premise of Bioshock is like this guy
Bioshock.
Yeah,
Okay.
You remember this game? Yeah,
I never played it though.
Oh, well, the premise is like this guy creates a city underwater through like some brilliant engineering, whatever it takes. And he invites like the world's leading scientists and artists and what else?
Yeah,
Just like
I guess
innovators
just
and shit.
yeah.
Engineers, philosophers, whatever, to basically go there and own guns, have abortions, like whatever the fuck they, invent crazy shit. But there's like a famous geneticist, I guess, where he's like, they start fucking with the human genome and they come out with like crazy, stupid sci-fi things like shooting bees out of your arm or something.
Yeah.
It goes really
Psionics.
sci-fi.
Yeah.
Huh?
The psionics. Every BioWare game has psionic components.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
that's kind of the yeah, I guess maybe that's the analogous thing. But like in this game, yeah, they just have like they extract this, or they end up finding like the stupid sea slug has like properties to what basically give you like stem cells or some shit that can give you these you can program them to give you any ability or whatever.
Mm.
And so anyway, the downfall of the city is that like the scientists kind of
They go overboard.
yeah, they go overboard. Like societal rules kind of the lesson is that societal rules are put in place so society doesn't collapse kind of thing.
Yeah.
But this guy is like, fuck that. He's
With
like
the
a
main
super. The owner of the city is like super like Randian and like kind of like a like a Randian hero where he's like, no, fuck this. I own this city. You know, it's not going to collapse because some asshole decides to exploit this thing and exploit people and shit like that. Like I'm still going to have my city or whatever.
And it goes
Way too much into politics, but like basically what ends up happening is if it fucks itself over because the technological like advancements, like the people weren't ready to handle that kind of technology.
Basically like what we've been talking about.
In a sense, yeah.
The exponentiality of technology, but also this one's more of like the lack of ethics.
Yeah, you have no.
Yeah,
checks
definitely.
or
That's
balances.
like the
You can't
takeaway
handle
lesson.
you can't handle technology when you don't have any kind of constraint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's kind of the moral of the story, I guess. Like just having we need to have
need
good
bounds on
moral,
these
we
things.
need ethics. We
Yeah.
need to have all these things in place before we handle something as important, I guess, as like.
Well, I know I've told
Gene
you
editing.
before, Juan. I think I've probably told you too, Joe. I think humans we need things in place to make humans more progressive in thinking. As in, we need to be trained to think more in the future.
You mean education?
No. Well,
Ideally,
yeah,
that's what
kind of.
education is, right?
Yeah, but education sucks. I mean, like in a real way that's like, it's centered around just being able to think progressively as opposed to instinctively or reactionarily. Because we're so programmed to be reactionary from living in the fucking jungle and looking out for lions and shit.
Yeah.
We always want to react to shit. And things go so fast, I think, as time goes on at such scale, and we're less and less adept at being able to transfer between fields, like job fields specifically, that I think it can easily run away from us if we don't have some kind of system in place to make it so that all the checks and balances are hit with how we're actually moving in the future. Because things are just so so specialized. Like you know, you take decades just to get to be a master at your field. And then you don't even know what the fucking next guy who's in the same field as you does.
Yeah.
Because you don't have that expertise. And it's just like the only way you can really predict the future a lot of times is if you can synergize all that information, which I don't think we can do that much anymore because it is so hard. Everything is so hard now.
Everything is so individualized, specialized.
And the problem is, though, society, is going in a direction whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And it goes at such a rate now that it could be too late to react.
Yeah.
We can't always just hope for the best, and think, okay, we'll get there when we get there, and if shit happens, then we'll fix it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it becomes unfixable if it's too grand. I don't think we've really seen an event like that yet, but I don't know if it's possible to see that. I think it could be possible an event like that exists. And that kind of falls into the thing where, actually coming back to the podcast, they were talking about the Fermi's paradox. Brian Cox was asked, does he think that there's other life within the galaxy? And he says, he innately believes that it could be like roughly one or two in a galaxy. Yep. So we could be it for our galaxy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a scary thought, right? Because you're like, it's happened before. It's happened to us. Now since this is all we know, we're like, it probably has happened to happen somewhere else.
Oh, I think it's definitely happened.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Have you guys heard of the Drake equation?
Is that related to Fermi's paradox? Yeah.
Yeah. So I took an astronomy class, like a year ago or so, and basically Drake was
Not only a rapper.
Canadian musician. Canadian musician.
Right. He, I mean, I don't know how sophisticated the equation is, but it's a way of just estimating the amount of intelligent life civilizations that could be in our galaxy. Right. And so I ran this equation, I did all the research and plugged in the values, and I got a very similar number to Brian Cox. Actually, I got like 2 or 3 civilizations. But that's also, you have to consider that's in the whole, 14 billion times.
Oh, that's in the whole universe?
In our galaxy. 14 billion year time step.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Oh,
so we could be like, we also have to consider the fact that those civilizations could have been like much before us. Right. It took us,
Damn, it's only 1 or 2 in the whole.
Right. So I mean, it's really dependent on like
how many
what your
variables
variables
does that
are.
equation have?
It's got a lot of parameters, right? And it's like things that we don't really know very well. So there's a lot of wiggle room. There's a lot of ways that you could slice it, but
so you eventually you then essentially created your own equation.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I
mean, using the template of Drake's equation, I guess, kind of.
Right. So they just say like, how would you estimate, the fraction of, stellar systems in the galaxy that could support a planet like Earth or whatever.
Wait. So this was you were just calculating what's the it's not a probability.
It's a number. You're calculating
it's just a number, not a probability. Like
it's a number.
Because is it saying like a planet like Earth? Are you calculating like how
life in the universe?
Right. So you say like, okay, like
what's that magnitude mean though?
What do you mean? So
it's a number mean?
So the number that I'm calculating or calculated was the number of intelligent civilizations out there.
Okay,
of comparable intelligence to Earth.
I imagine it's like a function that has a bunch of weights, Juan.
No,
right,
I totally get
it. And that's the probability part, and then it scales those depending on what it is, and then you get a number that comes out.
No, I was worried that it was just like complex life up to like what, like I was like,
Is it complex life or just life in general?
That's what I was wondering. Like, is it like what?
Well, I mean, you could scale it either way. Right. So I mean.
Or I guess it depends on the parameters you put in.
Right.
Okay. So you did sentient life, I imagine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think probably life in general is probably a lot more
common.
Like a
cellular
fucking
life?
microbe, a single cellular organism.
Yeah.
Gotta be a lot more.
Yeah, it's probably way more common.
Yeah. So I think that's what Brian Cox said too. Is like he expects that there's probably a lot of microbial life out there, but in terms of intelligent life, he got a similar number to me if I'm remembering correctly. But but it's just because there's a lot of things you have to balance at the same time. Like there's debate on this, but whether there's like a Goldilocks zone for Earth or like a place in the solar system. There's also a Goldilocks zone for a place in the galaxy itself, right? Because you don't want to be too far out on the edges, too close to the center where everything's dying and shit. So there's a lot of things you have to balance at the same time. So
he also made a really good point about the gas giants. Do you remember that part?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was saying how it's really weird how we have the 2 gas giants that didn't envelop the rocky planets close to the sun.
Oh, yeah. Like we have a very special
for some reason, Jupiter was this giant planet that should have engulfed like Venus, Mercury, and Earth or something.
Yeah,
but Saturn actually was so massive also that it pulled Jupiter back and kept it into place.
Yeah,
and then Jupiter is important for us because it... What'd you say?
It was God.
Get the fuck out of here.
You don't need an explanation. It was God.
Yeah.
No, that's really cool. No, that really blew my mind.
You really rustled my jimmies.
That was kind of impressive because I'd never really thought about that. Like
I never heard of that.
Yeah,
but it makes sense, right? Because Jupiter sucks up all the fucking errant asteroids and debris and whatnot.
Yeah.
Well, they think that there's like I mean, Joe was kind of alluding to this, but like he was saying that there should be another planet, like planet
Jesus Christ,
Planet X or something.
Oh,
like
yeah, like Nibiru or some shit.
Yeah. Well, dude, this is where I feel like Brian was like almost like eating his own fucking shit because like he used to shit because I used to follow him on Twitter like since like 2009. And like he would talk shit about Planet X people, and then like research started coming out that there kind of is like.
Well, that was legitimate research for a while.
There was like 1 or 2 papers back in the day that kind of said, oh, this is kind of
like in the 2000s.
Yeah. I know. No,
I thought it was legitimate because they could detect its gravitational effects. It's just way out there. I thought it was already confirmed it exists. It's just that it's just way far out of our solar system.
Right.
It's like in the exoplanet region.
I don't remember the time scales of this, but I do remember reading about how a lot of people were saying this is like the Planet Nibiru shit, or whatever. And then Brian was like, this is bullshit. There's no fucking Planet Nibiru. There's no exoplanet like that.
Oh, really?
At least what I remember him saying was like, yeah, that doesn't exist or whatever.
Okay.
But then like more and more research. Obviously, as a scientist, you're allowed to like, come to a different conclusion as like evidence comes out for things. But yeah, I think he's a lot more humble now. I think he used to like beat people over the head with certain things, and now he's like maybe kind of learning
to be like, more.
Yeah, because he brought that up. Like he's trying to be more amicable with people. But yeah,
that's the pussy's way out.
Well, I mean, it's like a good way to communicate science, because then if you don't communicate well as a scientist, people will like.
They won't believe you.
People become skeptical of you.
Yeah.
And anything scientific looks like it looks elitist in that sense. And people are like,
because it's so already out there.
Yeah.
That people are already raising an eye at you, saying fucking particles
global
can tunnel
warming
through
isn't
walls
real,
and
or
shit.
global warming isn't real.
Yeah.
This whole skeptic.
Well, that's been politicized to fuck. So now people really don't trust
everything's
scientists.
but I'm saying like even they. But that's what I'm saying. Like the common man doesn't really know what happens
because they don't understand the process. So I don't think it's really their fault. It's just the fact that they just don't get how rigorous the scientific process is. But then you also have some scientists that aren't rigorous, like some of the soft sciences that make predictions and things that are clearly just like, where'd you come up with that? And then people trust it less. And
I guess
the thing is, the political sphere also has this kind of really shit rigor to it. So people think that politics is equivalent to scientific rigor, which is not.
No, not even close.
So it's all these things combined that makes people really skeptical.
Yeah.
Actually, did you see? I mean, we're having the recent measles outbreak in Portland.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, the rate of vaccinations in Oregon tripled. It's like, oh, so that's what it takes, a fucking massive crisis for people to finally start to get their shit together, you fucking hipsters.
Yeah, it's really sad.
It's bad.
I imagine you see this a lot in California, though.
What do you mean, anti-vaxxers, or what do you mean?
No, because I feel like liberals fall into this camp. Like you would, I wouldn't expect it from liberals, but because they're usually a little bit more science leaning. Like, they generally believe in climate science.
But they're hippie as fuck, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could call liberals or conservatives science leaning, because conservatives, I guess, are Christian and religious, but
like hippie, they're definitely a lot
liberals
more
are massively hippie too. The non-scientist ones are hippie as fuck.
No, yeah. I mean, but
I don't know if anybody has a monopoly on science, really.
I guess you're right.
Yeah.
No political party, really.
Yeah, no, not really.
Everyone has their bullshit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, but I imagine it's a lot more like. I guess not. I guess because.
But then again, I guess you're maybe thinking because like, when you do go into the sciences, it's usually liberal.
Yeah.
Like, there's hardly any conservatives in the physics department.
Or any other department from maybe engineering, but that's not really science.
Yeah, I'm talking about like the hard sciences.
Yeah.
Like physics. I think in every school I've been to, it's been like massively, overwhelmingly liberal.
Yeah, but not in an obnoxious way.
No, because it's just what happens when you're smart.
Because we're also skeptical. Yeah, because we're also largely skeptical, and like we have a decent like.
And this is why big cities are always liberal, because when you're exposed to more people and when you're exposed to more of the world, you understand that ideology, I want to say, makes more sense. I'll be politically correct and say there is some.
There are very few binaries.
There is definitely something to conservatism too, because it's like it's making sure that you're not just wildly making changes and things, and you're not just progressing just for progression's sake, aka making 30 different genders and being an anti-vaxxer.
I don't know about making, but yeah.
Are we gonna get into this?
It's more about recognizing as opposed to making.
So you're telling
We
me?
won't get into this
so
right
you're
now.
telling me that you
We
can
will-
switch we being a man or a woman by the
Okay,
minute?
no, we won't do this.
Yeah, we won't go
I'm-
into it.
I'm gonna switch it. Right. I wanted to talk more about the Fermi paradox, though. If that's okay.
yeah,
If I
yeah,
could
yeah.
switch
Sorry.
it back
No,
up.
we kinda went
off, yeah.
No, it's okay. But I wanted to get your guys' impression of it. Like, what do you guys think? Like, because are you well acquainted with the Fermi paradox, or do you,
Yeah.
I won't say well acquainted,
Okay,
but I
so
know of it.
You want me to like go through it? Because
Sure,
I
if
don't
you got it.
right. So I mean, you noted on the like exponential nature of growth, for humanity, right?
Of growth of what do you mean of population?
Sure, right.
Okay.
But I guess it's more appropriate to be talking about like technology.
Oh, technology growth. Yeah.
Right. So you notice that, I guess, even the field of physics has only been around for like 500 years, right? Since Newton, right? So
Yeah, it's kind of crazy if you think about
Modern physics, yeah.
yeah, right. So anyway, so things have been.
Is it only 500 though?
I thought it was like 1600.
Yeah, 1600s, 1500s.
Damn.
Yeah.
So fucking short.
Right.
Yeah,
So
with all
believe
this
it.
progress.
So
yeah.
things have been progressing exponentially, right?
Mhm.
So if you extrapolate that for like one or two intelligent civilizations, you would expect over the course of, billions of years of evolution that they should be everywhere, in our galaxy.
Right. This is what Cox was saying.
Right. So that's the Fermi paradox. Is like if you're an intelligent civilization and you're given enough time, given the exponential growth of technology, you'd expect to see that shit everywhere. We would be going like if we had the means, we would be everywhere.
Right.
Right. So why is it that we don't see that yet?
Mm-hmm.
That's the Fermi paradox.
Right.
So what is your guys' take on? Like I've thought about it a lot. I don't necessarily have like a firm stance on like what I think is happening, but
I don't either, because the thing is, unfortunately, the sample size is too small.
what do you mean the
So
sample size is too
we
small?
only know of one sentient species, which is us. So it's like the Fermi paradox is just a way to quantify what the possibilities could be to me, right? Which is just what they say is like there could be a grand extinction event in the future, which is why we don't see many civilizations.
Right.
Or it could just be that life is that rare, which that one I'm less inclined to believe. I'm more inclined to believe the grand extinction event over that one.
Yeah, so then there's a good Kurtzgesagt video on this. I don't know if you're familiar on YouTube.
Yes, I saw it.
Right, on the Fermi paradox.
Yeah.
Talking
a while
about the
back,
same point.
like last year.
Yeah, I don't remember, but basically, yeah, they addressed the Fermi paradox and saying like there's either an event in front of us, right? We have not yet come to the hard point where all the civilizations get cut out, so that we don't. Is it a possible explanation as to why we don't see alien civilizations out there?
The big dick.
Or the alternative is that the extinction event, like we've already passed it. Like we've already passed the hard part of like either like developing intelligence or whatever.
Right.
The hard part could be we could be past it, and like we could be the one of the few civilizations that ends
which could have been nukes. That would be first to pop in my mind.
Yeah.
Because that seems like a massively big step in a civilization.
Yeah.
When you invent nukes.
Yeah.
Oof,
So
that's
many things that
a
have to
big
go
one.
right.
Yeah. Because you really can destroy the entire world with nukes, right?
Yeah.
Very few of them.
And that's it.
But we still have them. The thing is, the worst may not be over.
Yeah.
But also we could
that.
not even be there. It could be something even crazier.
Yeah. But so what do you think, Juan? Why don't we see aliens?
Why don't we see aliens? I think there is alien life out there, but I don't know. Maybe they're camouflaged, dude.
Right. No, they said that in Brian Cox's. Like you're joking, but like I read a book recently about it.
Oh, really?
It's like.
Oh, they're saying if they were to be examining us, they would be invisible to us if they really wanted to.
Well, Brian Cox was saying their signatures could be invisible. So, we detect energy signatures, right? They could just be so energy efficient, their technology, that you just don't even register it.
Yeah, but so I mean, there's
fascinating.
There's this trilogy that I was reading, the Three Body Problem trilogy.
Oh, yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And so the second series is called the second book is called The Dark Forest, and it's basically a hypothetical answer to the Fermi paradox. The dark forest is the universe, right? and the intelligent civilizations are hunters in that forest.
I see.
So it's like, actually, the universe could be like, if there's an intelligent civilization out there, it could very well be a threat to you later down on your life. You have no idea its intentions towards you or your civilization.
Yeah.
So it's in your best interest to remain silent.
Yeah.
Yeah, what does game theory say about that? Like, what does it say about intelligent life? If there's something more advanced than you, do you stomp it out or do you cooperate?
The thing is, we know how it goes usually when people are more intelligent, encountering less intelligent civilization.
I know, but that's a human thing. Well. That's a human thing. Like,
the thing is, though, I think it could be universal, man. Just
maybe, but the thing is, like, this goes back to like resource shit, because if we have nothing to fight about in a sense.
Because you're saying they have enough resources.
If they have enough resources, like, like we're just operating, we're living because.
But the thing is, let's say, hypothetically, let's say they were 100,000 years ahead of us. Then what if the resource actually...
Well, because a lot of conflict arises, by the way, from battling over resources or getting to things that we don't have access to in that sense. Right. So if they came here to planet Earth with in mind of, getting some kind of resource or something, like...
Well, here's the thing also. What if this is the only way life can be made? And Earth is like the sweetest planet to have life, and
that's the premise.
It's so rare.
That's the premise in the book. Is like the alien civilization is in between a stellar binary. That's why it's called the three-body problem. And it's the three-body problem is naturally chaotic and unsolvable to physicists now. Yeah. So there's extinction events happening all over the place on their planet. So Earth happens to be a close place that they find out about, and
it's got the sweet spot.
So the resource was space in that case.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah,
it depends if they have a motive. Like if their motive is to excavate resources or something, or just observe life. We wouldn't know. I guess we wouldn't know until that happens. But I kind of agree with what's his name, Hawking. Says we shouldn't be screaming in like we shouldn't be screaming our position in the dark forest or whatever.
Right. Which is too late now. We've given off so many signals that
but our radius is only 50 years or so.
Yeah, that's true.
So
and then it take their time to get here and all this other stuff.
Yeah,
even
so
if they can't even get here.
Yeah. So we could be long advanced by then.
I mean, the next nearest galaxy is what? Alpha Centauri, which is what? Couple hundred light years away.
Galaxy, or you mean
that's star? And it's not 100 light years.
Yeah, the nearest star, Alpha Centauri, I think is like
like tens of light years.
Yeah, I think it's 4.2 light years or something like that.
Fucking
man, it's way closer than you would think.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's why we like looking at that one, because it's like we might be able to go there.
Nice.
In some reasonable amount of time.
Do it.
Reasonable, quote unquote.
Why don't we send a probe there? I kind of agree with somebody said this on the.
Well, because we just Voyager just left the solar system. That's why.
We did send something there.
Well, no, I'm just saying the time scale you're talking about is like we can't get there if we wanted to. Like the time scale it would take to get there is just like
we'll be long dead.
Yeah,
dude. I hope we survive. Just to keep as a species. I really do hope we survive beyond.
Me too.
This kind of shit. Because
maybe we should start wrapping it up.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, any closing thoughts, gentlemen?
AI, not even once.
Did I even get to did I answer the question? Yeah, I guess I did, right? Fermi paradox?
Yeah, kind of. I don't know.
Fermi, like him or
what
hate
I think is, yeah.
You think there are aliens out there, or you think they're not?
I do, but...
Intelligent.
Does he think they're hot or what?
Three boob?
Yeah, that's gonna be
hot or not. What if they have a universal Tinder, like, species? Do you think there's like a... By the way, closing thought. This is one last thing.
Yeah.
Do you guys believe in convergent evolution?
You're going to have to explain that. What do you mean?
Convergent evolution is this idea... It's this idea that... I know, we'll try to wrap this up. But, like, it's this idea that life forms kind of follow a similar... Or life follows a similar path. Because, like, you see with even different species...
Yeah.
There's...
Independent evolution. Of, like, eyeballs and stuff like that.
Exactly. Winged... bats have wings and birds have wings.
And they're all independent.
Yeah. So they evolve
I think there
independently,
is.
but there kind of is like. So if there's
It's like
such
a
a thing,
blueprint, kind of.
if we live in a world or in a universe where all the physical rules are the same for the most part, besides like gravity constants and all this other stuff, would we see life emerging in like consciousness at least emerging in a similar manner? Will we see, like, is bipedalism something that an intelligent species has to go through to?
Not sure, honestly.
Right. Well, I mean, the historical precedent is, I mean, you don't have to have intelligence, right? Like, dinosaurs owned the Earth for millions of years before us.
Well, who's to say they weren't
Right.
intelligent? Everything was wiped out.
Well, they didn't have any like tools or anything.
Dinosaur telescopes.
Yeah,
and stuff.
nothing is going to survive tools.
Just the Flintstones.
I was thinking about this the other day. If there was like an intelligent reptile species, say if there was, you know, what the fuck? Like, would they leave any trace? Because like, it's the thing is like,
well, if AI can't take over the world without thumbs, how can reptiles?
I know, right? They're slaves to the sun.
Touche.
They're like slaves to the sun.
Don't
yeah, they
give
have
dolphins thumbs, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Just letting you know now.
That's the end of times.
Yeah, fuck it. We'll close with that, guys. Let's fucking do that.
I just got an image of a dolphin pumping a shotgun.
Hell yeah, I want to see that.
I don't
Taking
know what
over,
that
bitch.
means to play us out. What does that mean?
All right.